in this very sad occasion of the history of mankind, where the Iranians also under the clutches of fascism in the name of Islam, in the name of religion, like Hitler in the name of National Socialism, and Mussolini in the name of communism, fascism, and the other Pol Pot and Stalin in the name of communism. They have come to some extent of atrocities that it will never go down in the history and punished. Now, unfortunately, it's the turn of the Iranian people, a great civilization, a nation which was one of the stone layers of the civilization of mankind, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 history of civilization, today under the clutches of the fascist regime, communism, in the name of religion, which is almost 100 times worse than any type of fascism, Nazism, because they misuse the religion, they misuse the belief of the people, and they turn into devils and killers and massacres. So 29 years ago, the Iranian people also experienced the same thing that I'm a Norwegian, an Iranian Norwegian, and a former ambassador who defected my embassy and joined the Iranian resistance here in Norway. Also experienced the same thing that in very beautiful democratic Europe we experienced under Nazism, under the occupation of Hitler in this very Norway, in that palace, and taking that palace and establishing a government connected to the fascism and Nazism. So, as such atrocities and crimes will never go down the history and punished, and it will not be subject to the lapse of time, it will always stay in the memory and the judiciary system and the international law. Such type of crimes, they are not going to be forgotten almost 100 years after. We could see that of 72 years after the fall of Nazism in the world, still they are hunting down these old rotten Nazi soldiers, officers, and party leaders who massacred the Jewish people, 6 million, and caused one of the worst wars in the history of mankind, with almost 30 million killed and many hundred millions crippled and chased away from their home. So, as this international law guarantees that such type of crimes, which is called crime against humanity, is not going to be forgotten. Still in Europe, they are taking them, they are putting them in first it was in Nuremberg, and after that in many other courts. Recently in France, a man almost 90 years old was caught because he was one of the officers in the Auschwitz concentration camp. So we are also embarked into an action, a legal action internationally in UN. I myself was in United Nations, and we established this Committee for Justice against this massacre which occurred in 1988. So we are also going to do the same thing that the Europeans also experience. We are also getting lessons of what they are doing. Actually, we are going and talking to the lawyers, European lawyers, the victims, those who are still alive after the Nazism. And we are going to learn from what they have done in order to bring this criminal regime to justice. And all the ingredients are here. The evidences are here. The international community is aware of it. Amnesty International several times came with declarations of condemning this massacre, this despicable, gruesome massacre in the history of this century and last century. So be aware that once again, we have to unite against a common enemy. Before the whole world united against Hitler, Nazism, Mussolini, Hirohito, who are going to destroy our civilization, destroy our democracies, people, even these innocent, wonderful people of Norway were not spared. They have been massacred, they have been taken to the concentration camp, and they have made a fierce resistance also against Nazism. They call them Gutenapuskauen, when they went and they have demolished the Hitler atomic plants in Rüki. So, now is the turn of Iranian people. And also we need, this is an international problem. It's not a problem of one country, one nation, or one ethnicity. It is a big problem for humanity. There is another type of fascism is creeping in our civilization, this time in the name of Islam. We have to unite. We have to unite against them. As we united against Hitler and Mussolini and Hirohito 72 years ago, and crushed them, and throw them in the dustbin of the history. So, be aware, we the Iranian people will do our best. The Iranian resistance, under the leadership of Mrs. Maryam Rajavi, who was invited many times to this very parliament here, we are poised to get this regime to the International Court of Justice for the crime committed against humanity. So be aware, once again, we are at the front of a war against Islamic fundamentalism, the Iranian resistance, the Iranian people, which is going to be profitable for the whole humanity, because they are creeping in our civilizations, killing people in Nice, in Germany, in Stockholm, in Copenhagen. So a common enemy again surged and surfaced, and we have to unite the democratic human rights lovers. Thank you very much.